The process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting forensic evidence is a complex and multifaceted process that involves several different steps. Collection. The first step in the process is the collection of evidence. This is typically done by crime scene investigators or other law enforcement personnel. Evidence is collected using a variety of techniques and tools, such as fingerprint dusting, DNA swabbing, and the use of vacuum cleaners to collect trace evidence. It is important to ensure that evidence is collected in a manner that preserves its integrity and prevents contamination. Preservation. Once evidence is collected, it must be preserved in a manner that prevents deterioration or contamination. This includes storing evidence in appropriate containers, such as paper bags or evidence boxes, and refrigerating or freezing certain types of evidence, such as blood samples or DNA samples. Analysis. The next step is the analysis of the evidence. This is typically done by forensic scientists or other experts who use a variety of scientific methods and techniques to analyze the evidence. For example, fingerprints might be analyzed by comparing them to known fingerprints, DNA samples might be analyzed by extracting and comparing the DNA, and ballistics evidence might be analyzed by comparing bullet markings to those on test-fired bullets. Interpretation. After the evidence is analyzed, it must be interpreted. This is typically done by the forensic scientist or expert who performed the analysis. They will use their knowledge and expertise to make conclusions about the evidence and its relevance to the case. Presentation. After the evidence has been interpreted, it must be presented in a manner that is legally admissible in court. This typically involves the forensic scientist or expert testifying as an expert witness in court, explaining the scientific methods and techniques used to analyze the evidence and presenting their findings to the jury. It's important to note that the process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting forensic evidence is a complex and multifaceted process that requires a high degree of expertise and attention to detail. It's also important to ensure that the evidence is handled and analyzed in a manner that preserves its integrity and prevents contamination, in order to maintain the reliability of the evidence in court.